So what is efficiency? Efficiency means doing the task correctly and with minimum cost. See, you have completely completed the answers. Collection of all internal and external factors, that is called business environment. Gives information about what is to be done and what is not to be done, that is called rule. It is always standard. In the section D, please do not write whatever the question they have asked you directly. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Vidhyaashram from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidhyaashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to all the students for this model question paper. Now what exactly the model question paper is all about? The board have given us a model question paper and Vidhyaashram is the only college which is doing it. That is, we are solving the answers of each and every question given by the board. What exactly you people need to do? Take your pen and book and please do write all the questions and the answers. And what exactly your parents need to do is they need to watch whether you people are writing it down or not. And let me just tell you here, students, we have done revisions of the business studies. We've also done the revision by chapter wise, plus we also have done the revisions of section wise. That means Vidhyaashram is the only college which is doing everything for the students. So from the bottom of my heart, I always say that Vidhyaashram is a college which does everything for the students for free. Now let me just go with the first model paper which the board has given it, that is 2021 and 2022. So the instructions from the board says very clearly, but before that I'll just tell you something more which you people should know. 3 hours 15 minutes is what you people will get. The first 15 minutes is what you people need to check the question paper. Know what exactly it is. But let me tell you here, students, that 15 minutes is not for you to check what all questions have come. Those 15 minutes is for you to understand the Chakra Vyuha of the examination. What all are the competitors which have been placed in the examination questions. Now I'll just tell you what exactly you should do. Choose any chapter, right? Choose any section, choose any question, but first impression is always the best impression. So what is that you should do is write more, get more concept is what you are supposed to go with. Secondly, whenever you write any of the questions, you should always write the question number properly, or else you will not get the marks which you really desire or deserve to get it. Next thing is, when you write any of the lengthiest question, don't just keep on writing. Understand the question paper format, that is which section that particular question has come. If it is for a 2-mark question, don't write half of the page or say 10 to 11 sentences. You just need to write 2 to 3 sentences and it is enough. If it is a 4-mark question, you are not supposed to explain all 10 points. You are supposed to explain 4 minimum and maximum 6 points. You just need to explain it. So please play this as a game. Now coming to the first instruction, that is write the serial number of questions properly as given in the question paper while answering, correct? You need to actually go for the serial numbers properly. Second is write the correct and complete answers. So I'm telling you, complete answers. Say example, you will get a question from the first chapter, what is management? I'm just giving an example of it. Now what is that you should do is, management is an art. If you write it, you will not get 1 marks. You are supposed to go with complete the answers. Management is an art of getting things done through others efficiently and effectively. Now you have completely completed the answer. So you will get 1 marks. Let's go with the question paper now. The section A. What is the instruction? Please read the instruction carefully. Don't waste your time reading the instruction in the examination hall, because this is how the examination instruction will look like. Now today itself you need to understand what is that 1 marks is asking you. 2 marks is asking you. 4 marks, how much you are supposed to write. Today only you are supposed to get to know this. Answer any 10 of the following question. Answer any 10 of the following question in a word or a sentence each while answering. Multiple choice questions. Now you have something called here, you have the multiple choice question. Multiple choice questions, write the serial number or alphabet. Say example, now you thought that there are like four options is given A, B, C, D. You don't need to write the entire answer. You will just need to write option A, option B, option C or option D, whichever you feel is correct, you are supposed to write it. Now each question carries 1 mark. That means each question, and let me tell you here, according to the board model paper 2021 and 2022, there are 15 questions. There are 15 questions and you are supposed to write only 10. So it's so easy for you people now, right? So the first question is, what is efficiency? Now I can write a page full of efficiency meaning, but you need to understand, if you write the entire one page, say you will take 10 minutes, but how much marks you will score? Will you get 10 marks? No, you're getting only 1 mark. So think wisely and then play the game. So what is efficiency? Efficiency means doing the task correctly and with minimum cost. See, you have completely completed the answers. So if you go with these kind of techniques, if you go with the smart way of learning, which Vidhyaashram is doing the best for you people, you will get 1 marks. Next, state the number of principles of management propounded by Henry Fayol. Now, Henry Fayol is the father of general management and he gave us the 14 principles. Now, supposingly you write here 14, the answer is correct, but still I'm telling you students, don't do this. Instead, you need to write Henry Fayol have propounded 14 principles of management. If you write this, now it is complete. Let's go to the next question, that is the third question. Principles of management are not. Now you have the options. The first option is A, universal, B, flexible, C, absolute, and D, behavioral. Let me just tell you what exactly it is. Management is universally accepted. Management is flexible. Next thing, the management is also, the principles of management is also behavioral in nature. So what is the answer for this? Management, that is principles of management, are not absolute. So your answer is what? Absolute. And you get 1 mark. So instead of writing C, absolute, if you just write C as an option, you will get marks. But I want you people to write C, absolute, completely. Next, let's go with the next question. Fourth, what is business environment? Now, when we go with this business environment, business is all about the internal as well as the external factors, internal and the external environment. So what exactly it is? Business environment is sum or collection of all internal and external factors. That is called business environment. Now, the fifth question, what is planning? Understand the meaning of planning. Here they are not asking you define planning. They're asking you the meaning of planning. So planning is a future course of action which bridges the gap between what you are and what you want to be. So that is what planning is. So if you write this, you will get 1 marks. The next question here is, which of the following is an example for the single use plan? See, I've done a revision on planning chapter also, and the same question had come, if you remember, and I know that you people will love this because what all questions we are actually doing it, we have done it in revision classes. So it's like we are getting 3 to 4 revisions at a single time, right? So you are getting that. So which of the following is an example for a single use plan? I told you single use is only for one. So the concept is very simple. 5 lakh project, I gave the same example, a project worth 5 lakh rupees. So budget is a single use plan. What is it? Budget is a single use. So here we have policy, procedure, C is budget, and D is method. So the answer is C, budget. Next one is span of management. See, again, the same question is repeated. In the revision classes also, you people have asked me so many times and the same question. So if you follow our videos, students, I'll tell you, you will be fetching more than 95 marks out of 100. So span of management refers to, I told you, it is all about the superior having the subordinates, isn't it? So number of managers, no. Length of terms for which managers are appointed, no. Number of subordinates under a superior, yes. This is the right answer. Number of members in top management. No, span of management means a person, a superior, how many people he can control. That is called span of management. So the next question is, name one internal source of recruitment. See, the chapter staffing, this is the fourth question where already done a revision of it. Name one internal source of recruitment. You have two internal source of recruitment. The first one is the transfer, second is promotion. Anyone you write, you get 1 marks. What is workforce analysis? See, the same question again in the revision classes we have done workforce analysis. The method of informing decisions about recruiting, retention and staff management by combining employees and return on investment data. That is called workforce analysis. Any of the questions you people can actually go with it, you will get 1 marks. State any one financial incentives. Financial incentives in the sense which is, say, you get stock options, you get profit sharing of a company, you get raises, you get bonuses, you get and commissions. They are all the financial incentives. That means where money is involved, monetary benefits are involved. Those are called your financial incentives. The next question is expand CPM. Critical path method is called as CPM. So we have done. So again, we got the 11 questions correct. 4 more questions to go. The 12th question, current assets are those assets which get converted into cash within 1 year. You people need to remember that. Go back to our playlist in Vidhyaashram channel and then go with the Abhilash Chandra Business Studies and you will get all the questions, all the answers with all the explanation. So here, current assets are those assets which get converted into cash within 1 year. Where exactly it is, you are supposed to go for a tick mark. So it is done. Next is treasury bill is basically, see here, treasury bill in the sense, you need to understand, there are long term, there are short term, but you need to know that. The borrowings are long term, borrowings are short term. But treasury bill is always for short term. Never get confused with treasury bill and some other kind of a long term things. Treasury bill is only for the short term loans, right? So an instrument to borrow short term funds, an instrument to borrow long term funds, an instrument of capital market, none of the above. So the answer is what? An instrument to borrow short term funds is for treasury bill. 14th question, give an example for the marketing of services. Marketing of services. What exactly is an example of it? See, this is a chapter of marketing where we have done the revision also, where I told you about. Say example, a hotel or a restaurant or a 5-star hotel, any kind of a hotel if you take. The accommodation, you are supposed to actually give the money. But in the 5-star hotel, what all are the chain of services you will get? Those are called as the marketing of services. Like you have swimming pool, you have a, say in that resort, you have a golf, you have all the other kind of a benefits kind of a thing. Those are called as the marketing of services. I have given an example here. Includes international hotel and ocean liners with guest accommodations. They give you bars, restaurants, swimming pool, gymnasium and other supplementary services where guests interact with multiple personnel during their stay, which might extend over multiple days. That is called the marketing of services. The last question, state any one regulation which provides legal protection to the consumer. The chapter name itself you are supposed to write with the act. The Consumer Protection Act 1986, if you write it, you get the full marks. So this is what the section A is. Here, we'll go with the section B. Now, in the section B, what really happens is it is for 2 marks. Again, the board says that we are supposed to give 15 questions. In those 15 questions, the students will be writing only 10 of the questions. So, each question carries 2 marks. So, what exactly the instruction says? Answer any 10 of the following. Again, 10 of the following questions in 2 or 3 sentences. See, they have only said 2 or 3 sentences. So, don't take more time. The minute you know a question, you have already prepared it for 4 marks. Don't write the entire answer for it. It's like 2 to 3 sentences is all enough. Each question carries 2 marks. So the first one is defined management. Now I've given here a complete blank here, defined management. The reason is, if you have learned ACT, that is the Abhilash Chandra tricks to remember to write defined management, always understand, though you know management is an art of getting things done through others efficiently and effectively, but I don't want you people to write that. I want you people to always go with the minute you get defined. The minute you get defined, you are supposed to go with according to. According to. Now, the minute you write according to, that means you are supposed to write about a person who has already defined it. According to Theo Hyman, Henry Fayol, F.W. Taylor, Philip Kotler, Abhilash Chandra. Now, that is how you people need to go with according to. Then you write the name of the person who has defined the management, and then you start writing, saying that management is an art of getting things done through others efficiently and effectively. Next question, give the meaning of motion study. See, the motion study is given by a person called as Frederick Winslow Taylor. What does that Frederick Winslow Taylor have actually said? Now, in the motion studies, he says that it's a systematic way of determining the best method. It is what? It is the best way of determining the best method of doing work by scrutinizing the motions made by the worker or the machine, completely automated. That is what motion study is. State any 2 importance of principles of management. Now, through principles of management, how is that the organization is getting benefit is what you are supposed to go with. How the managers are getting benefited, how the employees are also getting benefited. Any of these 2 principles importance, if you write it, you will get 2 marks. So it is for you people, it's a homework for you. And what you are supposed to do is, in the comment box, you are supposed to just type the answer, and I'll be here to check whether it is right or wrong. And this is what we have already done in the revision class as well. 19th question, write any 2 features of planning. There are 7 features of planning, boss. 7 features are there. Any 2 you write, you get 2 marks. It's like a direct question. You don't require even a single minute. Like within half a minute, you will finish it. Say, write any 2 features of planning. Planning is what? The first thing, goal-oriented. Goal-oriented. Planning is pervasive. Pervasive. Planning is now any kind of a thing, you just write it. Optimum utilization of all resources. Write it. It's a future course of action. You write it, you will get it. Now, give the meaning of rule. What rule says? See, if you carefully, if you would have gone through our videos in the revision classes, if you would have interacted with us, all the questions are all repeated, isn't it? I told you that. Vidhyaashram being the only college which does it, and when we do it, even the board also, if you check what we have done and what the board has given, it is like 90 to 95% is the same thing. So here, give the meaning of rule. Rule refers to a standard or a specific statement. Standard or a specific statement. Now, what exactly it will be there? What you should do and what you shouldn't do. That is what the rule says. So here, gives information about what is to be done and what is not to be done. That is called rule. It is always standard. Next one. Write any 2 differences between functional and divisional structures. Now, functional and divisional structure, it is from the organizing chapter, where we know functional structure as well as divisional structure. Functional structure is for the small companies. Divisional structure for the large enterprises with lot of or varieties of product. So that is what the difference, the major difference is. Now, in the functional, the top management makes and executes the majority of decisions which is there existing. So it is the top management who takes a lot of things. Now, divisional managers and leaders have the autonomy to make decisions and their decentralization of power. So what happens is, in the functional structure, so you have a managing director here. Now, he is a person who will control the HR, the finance, and the marketing. But when it comes to divisional, now everything is decentralized, that is distributed within their authority and responsibility limitations. 22nd, state the two types of direct financial payment. Direct financial payment. Again, the same revision question it is. Time-based and performance-based are the two types which you can write it. Next one. What is supervision? Now, supervision comes in the chapter called directing, where there is a person who is the supervisor who will supervise that what those people are doing it. Now, who are those people? They are the subordinates. Supervise or supervision means instructing, guiding. Just like directing, instruction, guiding, and monitoring the subordinates. See, the subordinate is a answer key, which you need to write it. Without that, it is incomplete. To ensure that they perform their jobs in accordance with the plans and the instructions, that is called supervision. State any two traditional techniques of managerial control. Now, traditional technique in the sense which people used to use it before. So, you have two of the techniques like budgeting, that is budgetary control, or standard costing. Any of these two, you actually write it, you will get the marks. So, standard costing is there, where you have, say, material price variance, material usage variance, material rate variances. So, those are the standard costing, where you have labor as well as material, how they are checking the material and how they are checking the labor. The same way, when you go to budgetary control, you have flexible budget, sales budget, cash budget, all those things. So, any of these two, you write it, you get 2 marks. State the twin objective. See, twin objective is always a compulsory question. Even I'm telling you students, in the main examination, you will always remember Abhilash sir, the same question number 25. You will get a question saying that state the twin objective of financial planning. The first one is to ensure availability of funds whenever required, ensure that the firm does not raise resources unnecessarily. You need to always go with optimum utilization of resources. Next is, what is capital market? Now, there are two markets which you people already know that. Capital market and money market. So, capital market is a market where buyers and sellers engage their trade of financial securities like bonds, stocks, etc. They are the capital market. What is marketing? Now, according to the textbook which says the very simple form of marketing definition as well as the meaning, I want you people to go with the same content. The reason is, if you Google or if you go with any other kind of a marketing, you have a lot of marketing definitions. I feel this is very easy for you people to remember. Marketing refers to activity a company undertakes to promote the buyers or sellers of a product or services. So that is called marketing. Very simple, and it's like crispy clear saying that what exactly it says. 28th question, give any two examples for durable products. Durable products. I have given more than 3 examples. Any two you can actually pick. Say home and office furnishings, lawns and gardens equipment, consumer electronics, toys, small tools, sporting goods, photographic equipment. Any of these you can actually go. That is called durable products. What is consumer protection? Now, this is a question which you people can write in your own words. You don't need to mug up what exactly I have given here. Consumer protection means what? Each and every customer is a person who will become a consumer some other day. So, when he is converting himself from the customer to the consumer, he wants to be a potential buyer. Now, nobody should cheat him. If somebody cheats him, who is the person who will actually take action? So that's why the government of India as well as the government of the international market, they also have gone with this consumer protection. That is, we need to protect and safeguard the customer as well as the consumer. Consumer protection is a practice of safeguarding buyers of goods and services and the public against unfair practice in the marketplace. That is called as the consumer protection. And in India, we have a special act, that is Consumer Protection Act 1986, which safeguards the interest and which protects the consumer from not getting cheated by any other person in the market. Now the next one here is what kind of cases can be filed in the state commissions. Now we have two things, state commission and national commission. What all are the things which we can actually file? We also have a district commission, but we'll go with the state commission right now. First one, a consumer can file a complaint against a trade in state commission if the value of the product exceeds 20 lakhs rupees but lies below 1 crore rupees. So the more than 1 crore rupees, you cannot file a petition or a case in the state commission. It should also be realized as such, any customer or any consumer who gets cheated by any of the companies or shopkeeper within a limit of 20 lakh rupees and above, but not more than 1 crore rupees, you can file a suit in the state commission. The second thing is, the state commission will then, after considering the report heard from the laboratory. Now these are the two things which the state commission can go with. So here is completed with the 30 questions. Now 30 questions in section C will start. So the section C will start from the 31st question. You people need to understand here. Section A, 15 questions. Out of that, 10 you are supposed to write. Section B, 15 question. Again, out of that, 10 you are supposed to write. Now we are in the section C where you will be getting 14 questions and you are supposed to write only 7 questions. That is, you have a lot of options here, students. So concentrate on the chapters which I have already told you. If you need to get 100 on 100, even if you study 9 chapters out of 12 chapters, you will get 100 on 100. But if you really want to have a smart way of learning, I'll just give you 20 questions. Within the 20 questions, you will get 100 on 100. If you need that, please do come to Vidhyaashram. I'll be always there with you. I'll help you and I'll support you. Let's go with the section C. The first question, the section C says, the 31st, briefly explain any 4 importance of management. Now I told you this is how you need to remember. Please do refer ACT, Abhilash Chandra tricks, where I've told you what are the importance of management. Say you can just write this, GIRL, girl, COP, cop. Now girl cop is a combination where you can actually write and you can get more marks. So G, in the sense, the importance of it is always a group activity. I, it is intangible. R, it reduces time. L, it's like the 4th letter, so it is like GOAL, goal oriented. It is continuous process, optimum utilization of resources. P, in the sense, pervasive. Now they have asked you to write any 4. Any of the 4 you can actually write it, you will get 4 marks. The same way, explain the principles of scientific management. Let me just erase this for you. Now when it comes to the 32nd question, explain the principles of scientific management. I want you people to understand that scientific management is given by a person called as F.W. Taylor, Frederick Winslow Taylor. He is the father of scientific management. Now, according to the scientific management, he says that there are 4 principles of scientific management. The first one is science, not rule of thumb. Harmony, not discord. Cooperation, not individualism. And the 4th one, he says that development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency. Now 4 principles you have written. You will not get 4 marks. You are supposed to explain each and every principle properly. So before that, I want you people to write a brief introduction about the scientific management and write something about F.W. Taylor. Now F.W. Taylor, in the sense, you can actually go with Frederick Winslow Taylor. He is a person who actually gave it. Now explain 4 characteristics of business environment. If you watch all the videos done by Vidhyaashram, the playlist is also available. We have done the classes where the business environment, each and every topic we have discussed with you. In the revision class also, the 4 characteristics of business environment is given to you. Just refer to it and you come back to us. Briefly explain any 4 dimensions of business environment. 4 dimensions. Now I told you how to remember this ACT, the Abhilash Chandra tricks. If you have played chess, you will remember this. I told you to remember in the way like L step. Now what is this L step? L in the sense legal, S in the sense social, T in the sense technological, E in the sense economical, P in the sense political. Very easily you people can write. Now they have asked you 4, you give them 5, no issues. You will be getting 4 marks. Nobody can cut even a single marks with you. That is how if you write, you will get 100 on 100. Explain any 4 limitations of planning. Now, importance of planning and limitations of planning, if it was a combined question, you will get it for 8 marks. Now, they have only broken the questions. Now, what is that you should do is limitations of planning. The one of the limitation of planning is all plans will not lead to success. That's why many of you have planned so many things, but it will not lead to success. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't plan. You should plan, but make a feasible plan which can be easily done. Or if you take a hard plan kind of a thing, that I should be like this. Say example, I have taken a decision, I'm planning for it. Right now my weight is say 89 kgs. Now I have planned saying that 79 within 3 months. Now I need to stick to it. So I need to have a follow-up plan for it. I need to implement it. I need to go for identification of alternate course of action, evaluate it, select it, and then follow it. So that's why the limitations of planning is all plans will not lead to success. Next one. Explain the 4 methods of on-the-job training. Please do understand this is a question on the job training and we have done it in the revision as well. Now, whenever we go with on-the-job training, what happens there? There is a person who is always there to look after you and you are working, and while you are working, somebody is training you. That is called on-the-job training. And the 4 methods of on-the-job training is, say, coaching is on-the-job training. Internship is on-the-job training. Like that, you people need to understand that while we are doing a work, somebody is helping us, isn't it? Now, apprenticeship is there. It's also on-the-job training. Now, these are the on-the-job training which helps you people to actually get more work done with less mistakes. So, this is what on-the-job training is all. Explain briefly any 4 importance of managerial control. Now, this is a chapter of controlling where managerial control says that if you work properly and you are actually following up the action with what the company has desired the goal for you. Now, what happens is it is benefit for the organization. It's a benefit for the manager. It's a benefit for the employees as well. So, those importance of managerial control, if you start writing it about, saying that optimum utilization of resources, it is always pervasive kind of a thing. So more and more if you go with it, that is the importance of managerial control. And without controlling, you cannot achieve the desired goal which you have already set in the planning, because controlling is also a function of management. The 38th question says, explain briefly the steps involved in controlling process. Again, controlling chapter, controlling process. Whenever we write the controlling process, we always go with the flow chart, because controlling is a type where you need to understand each and every process continuously, because it goes with the step by step. The first one is you need to define and write the meaning of controlling. Now, controlling means what? Comparing actual performance with standard performance. If any deviation is there, that should be rectified, and that is called controlling. And whenever we go with comparison of actual performance with the standard, the controlling process says that the first step is setting standards. Now, how will you calculate the standard? So, once you calculate the standard, now you need to measure the actual performance. So, it is always like a flow chart where you have, say, first one, setting standards. The next one is here, the flow chart says measuring actual performance. Once you measure the actual performance, then you will go with comparing actual performance with the standards. And after that, if there is any deviations, you need to rectify the deviation. Follow-up action should be there. Now you know that there is a deviation, there is a problem, and you don't rectify it. Now that will not give you a controlling process. It is like half done. So you are supposed to identify it, rectify it, and then you are supposed to start new. That is what the controlling process says. Now let me just erase this for you. Explain any 4 factors affecting financing decisions. Now whenever we go with financing decisions, what exactly are the factors which will affect it? So example, uncertainty in a business will definitely affect the financing decisions. The raw material cost will actually affect the financial decision. Why? Because there is a fluctuation in the supply and demand. Any kind of a cost, there will be a effect in the financing decisions. Your cash flow as well as your other kind of things which will definitely make the financing decisions a little bit of troubleshoot. The reason is of the risk which we are taking. Now explain any 4 factors affecting the working capital requirement of a business. So you need to know the meaning of working capital. Your day-to-day activity, you need capital, that is called the working capital. Now there are few things which you people need to understand. Laborer are the people who are there, which will definitely affect the working capital of the requirement of a business. Briefly explain any 4 money market instruments. So this is a question which we have done in the revision class as well as in the other classes, where I want you people to write the differences between money market as well as capital market. Now in money market, what really happens? We have given an example of money market where Harshad Mehta used to play a long term business in the money market, and that is how he made his funds and sources of income more in the money market instruments. State any 4 characteristics of specialty goods. Discuss briefly any 4 differences between selling and marketing. And the question here, explain any 4 rights of consumers. So all these questions, if you try to understand, there are like straight questions which they are asking you without any indirect questions, or they are not turning the table. They're like straight questions for you people. If you have watched our videos, very easily you people can write about the differences between selling and marketing, the characteristics of specialty goods, the 4 money market instruments, the 4 rights of consumers. Now the rights of consumers here, if you go with it. As a consumer, what all are your rights? Now asking the retailer about the MRP is your right actually. To get a fair goods for the fair money, it's your right. Without getting adulterated foods, to get a proper food, that is your right. To ask for a bill, that is your right. To ask the cut down of the cost, what exactly has happened in every kind of a thing, that is your consumer right. To ask for a detailed prospectus about that particular goods which has been sold, that is your rights. Any 4 you can actually write it. The 4th one, that is a section D. It is a 8-mark question, and I'll tell you students here itself. In the section D, please do not write whatever the question they have asked you directly. I want you people to play this as a game. Any question which comes in the section D, so there are 8 questions you are supposed to only answer for. Now how is that you people will go with it? It's very simple. It's logically it is true. First write the introduction about that particular question. Write the meaning of what exactly the question is asking you people. Write the definition of it, and then go for the question what they have asked. Say example, I'll just tell you. Explain the characteristics features of management. Is a question. Now explain the characteristics of management is a straight question. But I want you people to write the introduction about management, the meaning of management, the definition of management, and then you write the 7 features of management. Again, the girl cop combination. Management is universally accepted. Management is pervasive. Management is continuous process. Management. Now, the more you write of the features, now you will be getting more marks. Now, we have this. It's a group-oriented, intangible, reduces time, goal-oriented, G-O-A-L, goal-oriented, continuous process. It's a feature of management. Optimum utilization of resources, feature of management. Pervasive, feature of management. When you start explaining each of the points, nobody can take 8 marks from you. Not even a single mark they can take it from you. That is how I want my students to write it. Now let me erase this. The next question. Explain the importance of organizing. This is the 4th chapter. If you remember carefully, 4th chapter is planning and this is the 5th chapter, organizing. So 4th chapter, right now in this model paper, they have not asked a 8-mark question. That means from planning, they have not asked a 8-mark question. From the 2nd chapter, principles of management, they have not asked a 8-mark question. From a 3rd chapter, environmental studies, they have not asked a 8-mark question, but they have asked a question from the 1st chapter, which is the characteristics features of management. They have asked a 8-mark question from the importance of organizing. Next is state the advantage and disadvantage of formal organization. Now see, advantage and disadvantage. Now this is also organizing chapter. If you watch my revision classes where I have done organizing the 5th chapter, I have told you this question will come, and see, this is how the question they have given, the board has given you the question. And I'll challenge you students in the main examination, 2021-2022 board examination, you will get a question of formal organization or you will get a question of informal organization. Take it from me. Next question. Describe the steps involved in selection process. In the revision classes, staffing process is different, selection process is different. Selection process, we went with the first process is what? Preliminary screening. The first process is what? Preliminary screening. After preliminary screening, we come to the interview. That is a test. What are the tests? Intelligence test, skill test, stress test. All those are the stress. And then we come to the next one. Next is explain the qualities of a good leader. Now, what are the qualities of good leader? Again, give an introduction of leader, meaning of leader, definition of leader, then come to the 10 qualities of a leader. He should be honest. He should be a good communicator, orator. He should know to bear risk, to take risk. He is a person who should be visionary. He should have a good command. He should make people get motivated. He should know the knowledge about what he is doing is right or wrong. He is a person who needs to support us. So all are the qualities of a good leader. So the next one, after that, there are 4 questions we have solved right now. The next 4 is suggest the suitable measures to improve communication effectiveness. Now, how a communication can be effective? I was telling you in the classes as well as in the live classes plus the revision classes where I have told you I have taken the same example, which I want you people to go and just check the videos where you will be able to understand. I have used all the ACT Abhilashandra tricks to make you people remember. They are telling you that suitable measures to improve communication effectiveness. Now you need to know first the barriers of communication. That is why communication is not proper. Firstly, we need to understand that what is communication? To make a communication, there should be at least 2 people. That is one, a person who is sending a message, the other person who is receiving the message. And they should not have any barriers. The communication should be proper. So how the communication will be proper? The sender need to send a message and the receiver need to receive the message the same way the sender has sent. And the communication is not full complete. Understand? Now the receiver need to reply to the sender that he is giving the consent or he is not giving the consent. That is called a communication. So to have effective communication, we should not have barriers to it. Next is what is stock exchange? Explain the functions of stock exchange. Now they have only asked you what is stock exchange. So give an introduction of stock exchange, the meaning of stock exchange, the definitions of stock exchange. I have given you 3 of the definitions which you people can write any one of the definitions. Then you go with the functions of stock exchange. There are 7 functions of stock exchange. Each point carries 1 mark. You are supposed to write the functions as well as explain each and every functions in detail. And then lastly give a conclusion saying that in India we have National Stock Exchange and Bombay Stock Exchange. The National Stock Exchange index is called as Nifty. The Bombay Stock Exchange index is called as Sensex. And you are supposed to go with why the other stock exchanges were closed and there were only two left in India, that is NSE and BSE. What do you mean by channel of distribution? What functions do they play in the distribution of goods and services? Explain. It's a marketing chapter where you are supposed to first go with what exactly is the channel of distribution. How many types of channels of distributions are there? You can actually write the 1 channel, 2 channel, 3 channel, you can write like that and then go with it. Now when you write about it, you should also write the flow chart or the chart where you can easily explain the channel of distribution, say from the supplier to the consumer, how all the channel of distribution goes. Say from the manufacturer to the end consumer, potential consumer, how the channel of distribution goes, you can write it. And what functions do they play? That is, you should write the functions of channels of distribution. And then each function will carry 2 marks. But you can go with 4 of the functions of channels of distribution and get 8 on 8. The last section, that is section E, and I told you here, you don't need to explain, you are supposed to just write and list the answers, how exactly it will be. Now part or the section E says for the practical oriented questions where it is for 5 into 2. So it is like 2 into 5. There are 4 questions, students. In that 4 questions, you are supposed to write only 2 questions. First one, see the first chapter will be like this. The first chapter is all about introduction to management or nature and significance of management. The second chapter is principles of management. Third chapter is business environment. So out of 3 chapters, 1 question is compulsory. So here what happens, assuming that you are the manager of an organization. Now understand, till here we have read, assuming that all this. Now I'll give you a hint how to analyze that. POQ questions, you will be getting it. The first chapter POQ question should be levels of management. You just need to check levels of management is there or not. The second chapter, principles of management, is there where they're going to ask you a question about 10 principles of Henry Fayol. In the part, that is the third chapter, you will get a question about business decisions, the business environment dimensions. So here we need to understand whether it is level of management, Henry Fayol 14 principles, or dimensions of business environment. So here, assuming that you are the manager of an organization, draw a neat diagram of different levels of management to specify that authority responsibility relationship are created different level of management. See here itself, they have given you a hint, levels of management, levels of management. So what is that you will do in the levels of management? You will draw the levels of management. This is the top level, middle level, supervisory level. Here CEO, CFO, we call this as C class. You have managing director, you have say CTO, chairman, president, vice president, all of them, they come in the top level. Middle level, you have the HR manager, the finance manager, the sales manager, and other managers. Supervisory level, the name itself says supervisors will be there. Supervisors, clerk, inspector, etc. So this is the levels of management. You will get 5 marks. But draw neatly. Don't draw like me. Don't use shortcuts here. You need to expand these chief executive officer, chief financial officer, managing director, chief technological officer, human resource manager, finance manager, sales manager, supervisor, clerk, inspector. You need to expand it. You should not write shortcuts. And here also TOP, top level, middle level, supervisory level, expand it. So that is how you will get 5 marks. As a manager, what logical steps you will follow in planning process before executing a project? So I told you in the 4th chapter. The 4th chapter, the POQ question is planning process. 5th chapter, organizing, if you come, it is functional and division structure. 6th chapter is called source of recruitment. So what is the key point? Planning process. They have already told you. You are supposed to write what? Planning process. Now, what is this planning process? The first one in the planning process is setting objectives, developing premises, identifying alternate course of action, evaluating the course of action, selecting the plan, implement the plan, follow up action. If you write it, you will get 5 marks. Next question here we have, as a financial consultant, give the list of any 10 factors which affect the choice of capital structure. And the last question, assuming that you are a promoter of a company and would like to raise capital through primary market, what are the various methods of floating new issues available to you? So all these 2 questions, also if you go with it, in the POQ which we have already done, in the revision classes and other things, I've given you a simple thing how to remember it, and that is all called as the ACT Abhilash Chandra tricks, where you people can write 10 of the things that is which will affect the choice of capital structure, whether you will go for borrowing, whether you will go for equity, whether you will actually take it from your friends, or bootstrapping is also a part of it. Any kind of a thing which you can get money, that is called the factors. Now, assuming that you are the promoter, now when you go with the promoters, what usually happens is, of a company that would like to raise capital. Now, when you want to raise capital through a primary market, when I say primary market, please do understand. Primary market in the sense the first shares are given by the company itself. So the company is a person who is giving you the shares. It is not the stock exchange. Stock exchange is a secondary market. Primary market is different, secondary market is different. And you can write the floating new issues available to you. Any kind of a various methods, you can actually list 5 points and you will get 5 marks very easily. So any doubt regarding the entire session, please do call us. We are always there to help you. Thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you.